Hello and welcome to the official coverage of the IUPS Draft Team Tour. I'm your host, Dom, and today we have some lovely fixtures to look at for week one of the draft. I've got all of the matchups here for the Xerneas League and the Yveltal League, and we'll just take a little look at some of the stats we have available to us, some of the data, and, just generally take a little look, see if this gives you any insight on what to pick for Pickems. If you don't know what Pickems is, oh boy, do I have some news for you. Pickems is the general way that people tend to compete outside of actually the drafting and playing the game in draft leagues. It's simply put, you vote for a team that you think is going to win, or a player. In our case, it's a team because, it's a team tour. And then if you get it right, you get a point, I think. Hopefully it's 1 point. You never really know, do you? But yeah, if we've got all of the fixtures ready here, that means that we can, freaking out graphics. Yeah, you're quite right. I don't know why. Ooh. Ooh. Interesting. Flickering. Let's see if it's on the general end or if it's on my end. I don't see why it would be on my end. Is it just the visuals, or is it the audio too? Oh wow, it is flickering. I wonder why. Let's see if it happens if we go onto the first screen, I guess. We can start talking about the KCL Kingdras versus Great Western Raikou. Is it flickering? I don't see any flickering. I see no flickering and pray that it's fine. And I can hear my voice on feedback. Yeah, that looks fine. Well, we'll hope that it doesn't happen when we go to the that screen again. Who knows? Maybe it just doesn't like that particular image. Alas, we will talk about KCL and Xerneas, I suppose, because they're our first game. For those who were unaware, KCL, the Kingdras, I believe, got themselves to the semi-finals last year, losing out to MUCL, who we'll be talking about in just a bit. They've never played Great Western Raikou before, but they don't have all of their players from last year, especially their top LC player, Jake, who came 7th overall with a 5-1 win-to-loss. Did amazingly and is not on the team so far as I can tell anymore, unless the usernames changed. If people's usernames have changed, then all of my data is wrong, but I haven't been told otherwise, so can't really be helped. But they do have two of the stronger players on their team. The second and third best were Mowgli Moo, who has moved over from Sword and Shield to Little Cup, who came 18th last year, 4-2 record. And Link is also still with us in the KCL team. Came 29th last year, pretty much slap bang in the middle of the pack. In fact, 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 differential. I'm sure they'll be hoping to improve upon that this year. They are playing doubles instead of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, so we'll see how that goes. As for Great Western Raikou, gosh, you've made names that are hard to say. there's only one player, I believe, from last year's Bristol team in Great Western Raikou. Jake was a sub for a few weeks. Knuckles played most of the Little Cup matches. Interesting. Is Knuckles on the team this year as well? Let's have a look. Vicious Attack Hedgehog. Is that Knuckles? Maybe. Potentially. I don't see them on the thing itself. But either way, they were very good with their Little Cup. But GWR, let's call them that, because it's way easier to say, somehow. They have, I believe, Iguanodont on their team, who came 34th last year overall. 3 wins, 4 losses, -3 differential. But the team overall came 7th, last in their division, unfortunately. But I mean, you have to talk about it if you want to start betting on Pickems. Although, like people have been saying in the chat, in the Discord, Pickems is only gambling if you have something to actually gamble away. I don't think there are any other players from them. I might be wrong. KCL came 3rd, by the way, in their group last year before getting to those semi-finals. Next up, next game in the Xerneas division is MUCL versus the Sussex Sharpedos. Now, I'm expecting a little bit of a resurgence from Sussex this year because they've been, basically dominating the first 2 games versus MUCL. Plus, they were talking as if, they've got something to prove this year, and I'm very much looking forward to how they perform. MUCL last year, they won it all, of course. They were our winners in the 2021 Draft League. And they came 2nd overall in their division. 6 wins, 1 loss. Is that the division that had the bye week? Maybe. I can't remember last year's enough to know. It won't have been because only has had the 7 teams. This year, MUCL, they have a lot of the players who did well. Oh no, they don't have the players who did well for them. They have the players who did badly for them. Haha. Sorry. Sorry, MUCL. Oh, you did have a bye. Okay. MUCL, they have Stara and Reels on their team, Reels being the captain again, I believe. They came 31st and 27th, respectively. Overall, this is all out of 60, once again. And the 2 players who did rather well were Altina and Sai. Sai's in their own, their own team this year, I believe. And Altina, nowhere to be seen in this team. So the overall strength could be considered a bit lower. Though, of course, once you take into consideration that they did win the whole thing, you'd have to say that their playoff form versus their division form was quite a bit stronger. They did play the Sussex Sharpedos last year. They won 4-0 with a +11 differential. That is quite the wipe. But, like I was saying earlier, I think Sussex have something to prove this year. Let's take a look at them. Oh, have they got a completely different squad? I think they do. Yeah, wait, no, because they had 2 teams last year. And I don't have the data for the shiny Sussex Sharpedos, so it may well be that the players from last year's Sussex Sharpedos or shiny Sussex Sharpedos are the ones playing in this. I can actually take a quick look at that. Who am I wanting? Team info. Shiny Sussex shiny Sharpedos. Yeah, looks like it. They've got Space Croc from last year, who played in Sword and Shield, playing in Sword and Shield again. They have Fried Chicken, playing Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon last year, is now playing doubles. And that looks like it's it, I think. Yeah, from the scenes of it. So a pretty new looking lineup, all things said. If I take a quick look at Space Rock and Fried Chicken, I can tell you that there's too many games to track them in. Let's see. Can I do this quickly? Maybe. Space Croc won their first game 5-0 last year, so maybe a repeat this year. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on to the next game, it is the Exeter Executes versus the Oxford Auxiliaries. Goodness me. I'll get used to it one day. I promise. This should be a very interesting matchup. We have, of course, the newcomers Exeter versus Oxford, who came and dropped out of the semi-finals. They lost against the Cambridge Camerupt last year, but they had a very strong team overall, and some of their players are still on that team, and by some I mean SF is still on that team, who came 6th overall last year with a 6-1 record, 9 differential. Quite dominant, it had to be said, in the Sword and Shield tier. He's playing Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, it looks like, this year, so we might not see that repeat. I will double check for the Oxtagoons, but I'm fairly sure they're the only double team. Oh no, Click for Victory is playing for Oxtagoons, as is Alex, so we'll talk about them later on, I'm sure. Exeter are looking fairly strong with their... they have a lot of confidence in their players this year. Data or Numera being a bit of a a bit of a leader in that camp. And it looks like, if I check, we've already had a 4-0 victory from Oxford. So if you're wanting to get one ahead in Pickems, then this might be a way to go. You never know. Next game. Oh, it's a very, 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 very spicy game between Sheffield Subs and the Chambaleurs. Now, the reason why this is spicy is because last year, the Jorvika Volts, who, let's not lie, the Chambaleurs is basically made up of this year, the only team that they lost to in the group stages in the league was Sheffield, unless it was Hull, in which case I'm wrong, but I think it was Sheffield. Now this year I'm sure they're out for revenge. They've already got a win on the board with Joe winning in doubles versus KVMO, and Sheffield are also looking strong, but I'll talk about Jorvika Volt / Chambaleurs first because I'm on their page. Joe, who I just mentioned winning, he came 2nd overall last year with the highest differential out of everyone, plus 26, no losses, 6 wins, which probably would have at least matched Hull's best player from last year in Sean if he got another win. Because, of course, the divisions are unbalanced. The standings at the end of the season will look a bit strange because anyone who's played an extra game will be on top of those who didn't, just unless, they lost that extra game. We also have Fusing Pegasus, who came 8th last year, and Quirtiquopper 26th. I know for a fact that Matt is looking for a big improvement, unless he isn't, because he hasn't actually told me, and I don't know it for a fact. Just improve. Do it. I dare you. Then we have Sheffield. Last year, they came first in their division. It's impossible. I was lied to. Oh, wait, no, I wasn't. It's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. Sheffield had 2 teams last year. I remember things. Or did they? I'm double checking. Ooh. Yes, they did have 2 teams last year. They had the cooler Sheffield team and Sheffield's memes. So potentially the data that I have on Sheffield subs, I believe, is all from Sheffield's memes, which wasn't the team that defeated the Chambaleurs, but the Chambaleurs weren't the Chambaleurs. They were your Vikavolt. So we've got a kind of a weird mix match in this game. A lot of the players from last year, I don't believe, are in this particular squad because we're basing it off of Sheffield's memes. Porygon Boy, if I'm not mistaken, is P2 Georg, who came 21st last year. Otherwise, we've got Mullock, who was a sub, and I will double check the 2021 team very, very quickly. Cool, the Sheffield team. It looks like it's made up of the players from there. So we've got Guo playing Sword and Shield. We have Mullock playing Little Cup again, who played Little Cup for them last year. And I have too many tabs open to know if this all makes sense. I hope it does. Oh, I knew it. I knew you were P2, you good yog. Then, next up, I believe we have the Cambridge Crawdonts versus Newcastle Zigzatoons. Right, apologies, Newcastle. That's another one that's slightly hard to say. Cambridge, last year, came 6th overall, 2 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses. They have... what is this? Maybe 2 of the same players from last year. I can see Lobster Lord is probably Purple Lobster, if I'm not mistaken. Lobster came bang on 30th out of 60 last year. 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 differential. Kobe, no, it's too soon. Came second to last, but is now a sub for them this year. 0 wins, 6 losses, but it doesn't particularly matter, as I believe there's a G Frost 2001 has taken over in Sword and Shield. I will double check the camera ups just to make sure that none of their players have gone across. I don't believe so. I think they've stuck with it. And then we have a number of new players on this team in Joey Fabric, I think, and Juyop. Oh, Joey was Jake Kaufman. In that case, Jake Kaufman last year. Am I blind? I might be blind. I remember seeing them. Oh yeah, there. Came 28th overall. So we've got the 30th and the 28th overall playing the same tiers as they were last year. No, Lobster is playing Little Cup instead of Sword and Shield this year. As for the Newcastle Zigzatoons, we have Epsilon playing both Sword and Shield and Little Cup, who placed 11th last year. And I think that's all from last year's team. Correct me if I'm mistaken, Newcastle people. They came 6th in their division last year with 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. Epsilon had 5 wins and 2 losses to his name with 19 differential. And of course they did not play each other. I didn't actually check for that across the other ones. Let's just double check for Oxford and, well, Exeter couldn't have played each other. Okay, I have been checking. I'm clever. Next up, if I take a swig of water. Next up, we've got the we're going over to the Yveltal division, where we have East Anglia Quagsires. I've been practicing that one, I promise. East Anglia were, of course, East Anglia Altarias last year. The fun thing about that, of course, being that they had a vote to see what their favourite Pokemon was across all of their Pokesock, and it turned out, well, who would have guessed it? Quagsire is people's favourite Pokemon this year. Crazy, I know. East Anglia, they didn't disappoint themselves too much last year, I don't think. They came 5th in their division with 3 wins and 4 losses. If they had a bit of a better differential, they may well have sneaked into that top 4, because they had a negative, I can count, 6 plus 8 is 14. Yes, Brain, yes it is. A negative 14 differential, which put them out of the way just a little bit. And this year, I don't think I see many of the same names. We've got Elfid from last year, who came 48th in the on the subs bench. We also have Arch Heretic on the subs bench, who came 35th last year. We have Nametab stepping up as the captain from last year, is from a sub into Sword and Shield. And apart from that, I don't think we've got any of the same players. Then we have the St. Andrews Anoriths, who are another of our new teams. They can't possibly have any data about them, but Sans Dracovish is one of the very, very active members in our Discord. We love you. You're great. And we hope that you have a very successful season. Let's see if they've played any games yet. They haven't. So this is a completely clean slate. You've got to bet on whether East Anglia are going to improve their form from last year, or if the St. Andrews Anoriths are going to be hot, coming in as a newcomer. Next up, another newcomer in the Imperial College Infernape versus the Oxtagoons. Now, the Infernapes, being a new team, I actually know very, very little about this team. We didn't hear from them in the talk to the captains. No one was available, unfortunately. So I, like you, am also in the dark. But the Oxtagoons, they do have data from last year. I lied. They don't. I lied again. They do, because they have players from last year. They didn't compete as the Oxtagoons, but they did compete as the Oxford Auxiliaries. We have Alex, who came fourth last year, with a 6 wins, 1 loss. Yeah, I'm always lying. Plus 21 differential. That is going to be one to watch. However, I believe they have switched up their format. Last year they played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. This year they are playing Little Cup. So we'll see the same form from Alex this year. We just don't know. We will also see the return of Click for Victory, who came 33rd last year in Little Cup. Well, overall, and played Little Cup, 3 wins, 4 losses, -2 differential. They will be playing doubles this year. And do we have any others? Ultra Glix is also playing for the Oxtagoons this year, who came 14th. 5 wins, 2 losses, plus 12 differential. I think what we're seeing from this is take the Oxford Auxiliaries stats, similar to how we're doing for the Chambouleurs, and just put it onto the Oxtagoons, because we've got 3 out of the 4 players from last year in the Oxford Auxiliaries playing for the Oxtagoons, and they came second last year, so we should see some strong performances from them this year, even if they're without SF, still playing for the Auxiliaries. Then we have the aforementioned Your Volts versus the BBC, or Bristol Bidoof crew. Your Volts, of course, last year came first in their group, crashed out in the first round of the playoffs in the quarterfinals versus Cambridge. The only player to play from the Your Volts this year for the same team is Failius in Little Cup. He won 4 games, lost 2 with a +4 differential. That's 19th overall. And then the rest of the team is a new slate with Deox, Red Rouge, T-Cat, and River. If you want to take it by last year's form, then they are a good one to place your bets on. But Bristol are a team of their own. They have Tom Sprite from last year coming in with 5 wins, 2 losses, 11 differential, 17th overall in Little Cup. That is going to be a very interesting matchup in Little Cup between the 17th and 19th players from last year. And we also have Blazing Lava, who was 58th overall last year, 1 win, 6 losses, -27 differential, playing Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon this year instead of Sword and Shield, so I'm sure they will be hoping to switch around that fortune and play a format that they are more confident in, hopefully. I think... Oh, we've also got Sinraptor. The two Swish and LC players. Wait. Is this the wrong matchup? Dun dun dun. I copied the Pickems. I shan't lie. So if this is wrong, then I think... Oh, I'm clever. Haha. Yes. Wait, is the Blazing Master not Blazing Lava? Am I getting those mixed up too? Ah, okay. Different person completely. Never mind then. Let's just quickly... how do I fix this? Very, very quickly. We can go onto this. We can say it's Your Volts versus Cambridge. So get rid of that. Like that. And Cambridge. I knew I messed something up. Camera ups. There they are. Oh, they're a little small. We transition. There you go. I'm correct now. The camera ups. Let's talk about them, and then we'll go on to the BBC in a bit. Although I have kind of spoken about them for a good couple minutes. Camerupts, last year they came fourth overall, beat your Volts in that quarterfinal to get through to the semis. They got through to the final eventually after beating UCL. They are very hot on form right now, and of course it's the quarterfinal grudge match for the Jorvika Volts. In terms of players from last year, they have a number of them. They have Florence Iris, who came 13th last year. 5 wins, 2 losses, 14 differential. They are playing BDSP instead of Sword and Shield, which they were on last year. Ashu is sticking with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. 2 wins, 5 losses, -5 differential, placing them in 49th last year. And Hot Vampire BF sticks with Little Cup also. 4 wins, 3 losses, -3 differential for them. 25th overall. Redo is now their substitute. I don't know who the captain is because my data is wrong, and I will fill that out before next week. Then, let's see if I can quickly on the fly make a thing that is nice to me. Add a scene. Wouldn't it just be a big meme if I placed everything on the starting soon screen so you couldn't hear me anymore? Ha ha ha, that would be funny. Right, who's the other matchup? Glasgow Isopods versus BBC. Then we drag that there. We drag all of that, copy, paste. Oh, this is definitely going wrong. How have they done that? That's interesting. There we go. Then we can add the Glasgow Isopods, GLA. You're seeing the work on the fly. There they are. Oh god, that's a big logo. You've all made very large logos, it must be said. Apart from a couple, maybe. Then the other one is the BBC. Oh, I know the name's already in use. Let's just use a lowercase c. BBC is down here. Bristol Bidoof Crew. That's one of the bigger ones. And there it is. How beautiful. And all prepared before the stream because I am a professional. Hooray. Glasgow Isopods are one of our newcomers this year, one of the 2 Scots joining us from across the border. I mean, there's no border online, but you know what I mean. So there's no stats to go off for them. I don't believe any of their players subbed or were free agents for any of the other teams last year. So they're going to be a complete new slate this year as well. As for the BBC, we were talking about them earlier. 2 of the players, my apologies, the Blazing Master and Blazing Lava. Yeah, French Coat, Morgan, and Blazing Lava, all new players. Thank you, Sinraptor. You are indeed one of the returning players, as well as Tom, 16th and 17th, respectively, both playing Nope, Sinraptor is playing BDSP this year when Tom is playing Little Cup. And then for our final matchup, I realize I spent like 2 seconds on you guys when it took me about the same amount of time to actually prepare the screen, but oh well. Next up is Durham. Durham Dumbrions versus Hullbury Wailords. And this should be a very interesting game also. I think no bias, because I'm not biased for anyone other than York, but I think this might be a Hull clean sweep. Durham came 5th overall in their group last year with 3 wins, 4 losses. They have... Do they have any returning? They do have returning. They have Epic Darkrai coming back, playing the same format as last year. Came 46th, 2 wins, 4 losses, -12 differential. And they also have Metalliman in as a substitute this year, who played Sword and Shield last. Hull, on the other hand, came 3rd in their group with 5 wins, 2 losses. They crashed out in the quarterfinals against Oxford Auxiliaries, and they still have the first placed player from last year playing in the league this year. Sean, or Blind Messiah, was first, 7 wins, no losses, 18 differential. Has switched over to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, where I actually, so far as I know, he is more proficient there, which will be very scary. Then Shutterpime Evil, who played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon last year, will be playing Sword and Shield. He might be the captain again this year. He came 23rd last year with 4 wins, 3 losses, 1+1 differential. Alolan Bob, last year playing Sword and Shield, this year playing doubles, came 50th, 2 wins, 5 losses, -9 differential. Spider Melon, last year played Sword and Shield, this year is playing Little Cup, came 20th, 4 wins, 3 losses, 10 differential. And then we have Marine Lottie Nerd as the only new player on the Wailords. And then, of course, Yveltal, because it has 11 teams in instead of 10, like Xerneas, it has a bye. LSEV have the bye this week, and it should be very nice for them to just be able to sit back, relax, watch the games go by, analyse their opponents to be even stronger into week 2. They, of course, get a 3-0 win, as does every other team that gets a bye. I still actually... You think LSEV... Do you think LSEV might win this matchup? I'm not sure about it. The bye is pretty strong. I don't think they'll be able to beat the 3-0, in all honesty. But I didn't actually check. I should have checked, but I didn't check from the last streams whether it is a full season or if it's a sort of a slightly cut season. It says 8 weeks, so I'll just assume that it's 8 weeks from now on, which means that some teams won't actually get that bye. I don't know how it works mathematically. The boffins over in the spreadsheet lands probably do understand how it all works. Now then, let's see if I move over to... Oh, I know why it's broken. I lied, I don't know why it's broken. Let's just see if it keeps flickering. I won't check it myself. Let me know if it flickers, and I'll just end the stream if it does. Yeah, it's slightly cut season. But if it doesn't flicker, then I can chat for a little bit longer and just say how excited I am about this league, about this. Still flickering. Ridiculous. I guess we'll stay on you know what? Because it was a mistake originally, let's go over to Glasgow and BBC. Uh, all of that hard work that went into it. No, I won't. I won't cut the stream, but I'll try and figure that out for next time. It might be something to do with the image. Maybe the fact that East Anglia really want that Quagsire ball to roll, except that it's a PNG from it. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it's really amazing to see all these 21 teams getting prepared for the whole season. And then by the end of it, we should all have a very fun time. What are people's predictions still in chat? What are you thinking for this this week? Who's the black sheep? Who's gonna be? Oh, BBC. Because the logo is really cool. You are right. Their logo is really cool. It's one of the coolest logos. There are a lot of cool logos. Just looking through them. What is actually my favorite? I think artistry-wise, it is BBC, but as a logo in and of itself, it's got to be KCL, right? Just because you could absolutely imagine a professional sports team using that as their logo. 100%. Newcastle are similar, but it's not as sort of, I guess, modern in that sort of very 21st century new logo takes. It's very good, but KCL is probably the best one for me, in my humble, very dumb opinion. Oh, you think a York sweep? Both teams? I mean, I'm obviously not biased for York or against York or anything, but I think both York teams will go 100-0 for every week, every game. So they're just too strong, and they have an amazing person helping team build who can't be named because they're supposed to be not biased at all, and actually hasn't really been helping with team building much. You've all been doing fine on your own. Maybe I should actually take a look. Who knows? Yeah. Right, I think I will leave it at that. If you haven't followed us yet, the Twitch itself, please do. I want to get... The reason I'm doing all this content is so that we can get a little bit of money, even if it's the absolute tiniest trickles of pennies into the I suppose organization for any kind of in-person events that we may be able to put on in the future. It is the sort of medium-term goal for now. So if you're able to give this a follow, give the YouTube channel a subscribe, although I don't think that will get to 1,000 subscribers in any good time. Who knows, maybe if we play the algorithm game right, speaking of, leave likes, comments, blah, 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 on there, this will go out on the YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Everyone say hi to YouTube, apart from the fact that they can't see chat. Hi, YouTube. But yeah, give us a follow. Subscribe on YouTube. Watch the video. Literally just stick it on in a tab and leave it there, because that helps the algorithm. And I'll give you a little bit of statage. The first video that we sent out got around about 120 impressions. That's like basically how many times it appears on someone's main screen of YouTube, like the front page of YouTube. The second video, because it had a sort of let's not lie, it was a bit of a pitiful total average watch time. I'll get the stats up now. I think it was around 4 minutes for a 2-hour video. Let's have a look. Analytics. Engagement. Average view duration was 6 minutes 51 for a 2-hour 14-minute video. So it got on people's main screens 124 times. As for the second video, it got onto people's screens 196 times so far, because people have been watching it for an average duration of 18 minutes. So if you keep it literally just in a tab somewhere, open, then YouTube's like, oh, people are enjoying this. We're not enjoying this. We just want to give it views. Just open 20 tabs. Yeah, open 270 tabs. Tank your computer. Use it as a data miner. Easy. Absolutely. But yeah, I'll sign off with all that. Thanks for watching. Good luck in Pickems. Good luck in your games. And I'll see you for the Week 1 review at the end of the week on Sunday 4 till 6. Oh, also, look at the Instagram. The Instagram has pretty stuff from Rowan. It's great. Have a good one all.